Best run franchises, Chicago Blackhawks. Even though the Chicago Blackhawks had some rough patches over the years, they are still one of the winningest franchises in the history of the league. The Blackhawks have won 6 Stanley Cups and were a modern dynasty in the salary cap era. Before the original 6 era, the Blackhawks had already won 2 Stanley Cups. In the 1950s, Bobby Hull, Stan Mikita, Pierre Pilot, and Glenn Hall all became preeminent stars in Chicago. All 4 eventually became inducted into Hockey Hall of Fame. The Blackhawks lost in the semifinals to the Montreal Canadiens in 1959 and 1960. However, in 1961, the Blackhawks finally beat the Canadiens and went on to beat the Red Wings to win their 3rd Stanley Cup. The Hawks made the Cup finals twice more in the 1960s. However, they would lose to the Leafs in 1962 and the Canadiens in 1965. Despite having a ton of star power on their team, the Blackhawks never pulled it all together and never won another Stanley Cup in the 60s. Fast forward to 1972. In the 1972-73 season, Bobby Hull jumped to the upstart Winnipeg Jets in the WHA for $1 million. This was a critical blow to the franchise. While the team led or was second in the West Division for the rest of the 1970s, the Blackhawks were never a successful Stanley Cup contender. Fast forward to the 1980s. In the late 1980s, Chicago made the playoffs on an annual basis, but made early round exits each time. In the 1988-89 season, the Blackhawks made the Stanley Cup Finals but lost to the Calgary Flames. In the 1991 season, the Blackhawks won the President's Trophy. However, they would lose in the first round to the Minnesota North Stars. The Blackhawks made it back to the Stanley Cup Finals in the 91-92 season, but they lost to the Pittsburgh Penguins in a sweep. The Blackhawks faltered and missed the playoffs from 1998 to 2006. Fast forward to the 2006 draft. With the 3rd pick in the 2006 draft, the Blackhawks drafted Jonathan Toews, their current captain. The Blackhawks lucked into the 1st pick in the 2007 draft and selected Patrick Kane with that pick. Behind the dynamic duo of Patrick Kane and Jonathan Toews, the Blackhawks made it back to the playoffs by a 2008-2009 season. In the 2009-2010 season, the Blackhawks won their 4th Stanley Cup in franchise history by beating the Philadelphia Flyers in 6 games. In the 2012-2013 season, the Blackhawks won their 5th Stanley Cup in franchise history and their 2nd in 4 seasons. After winning their 3rd Cup in 6 years, the Blackhawks re-signed Jonathan Toews and Patrick Kane to an 8-year deal worth $10.5 million per season. In the 2015-2016 season, Patrick Kane won the MVP, Art Ross, and Ted Lindsay Award. The Blackhawks were swept in the first round by the Nashville Predators in the 2017 playoffs. In the 2017 offseason, the Chicago Blackhawks traded Nicholas Hjalmarsson to the Arizona Coyotes for Connor Murphy and Laurent Dauphin. Artemi Panarin was traded to the Columbus Blue Jackets for Brandon Saad. The Blackhawks missed the playoffs in the 2017-2018 season, finishing the season with a 33, 39, and 10 record. The Chicago Blackhawks are a modern-day dynasty and are one of the winningest franchises of all time. This is why the Chicago Blackhawks are one of the best run franchises of all time.